Hello and welcome to our daily podcast. This is the Box Office Boys. Anthony here along with Dylan. Today we're going to talk about some of the movies coming out this summer, along with Star Wars, just because we have to, whether that comes out in summer or whenever. It just makes sense to talk about it. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us, whether you're listening to us live or listening to us later in the day on your commute. It's all good around here. So thank you for being here, Dylan.
Oh, absolutely.
Our first topic is going to be the very close release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It appears to be a very colorful and imaginative film. It has a lot of high expectations to follow up to the first film. What are your initial thoughts on it?
I'm really looking forward to it. I see that they're adding some new characters with Mantis and Peter Quill's dad, the main character's father, and it's exciting to see them because they weren't in the first film. But I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe really has something special in Guardians of the Galaxy, because you could just tell from the first movie, with all the color they added and more sci-fi-like space stations and a lot more imagination put into these films. Fans really love that, so I can't wait to see what they're doing for the second. Not to mention they have some great music, so that'll be fun. A fun soundtrack.
Yeah, and apparently Star-Lord's father his name is what, Ego?
Ego the planet.
Ego the planet, or Living Planet, something like that. And
yes.
I don't know if everybody was expecting him to be an actual planet, or if his ego is so big that it's the size of a planet, but apparently he's just a regular human being.
I do think that people that read the original comic books could tell, because the comics had him as the planet, and they can hopefully understand the transition that they make with him in the film.
Yeah, sometimes it just makes more sense to put an actual person on film than a planet, because people like practical, not CGI as much. It just adds more authenticity. So yeah, we're really excited for the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The next movie coming out after that we're going to talk about is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. So what are your thoughts on the new Pirates movie?
Well, I'm really excited for the new Pirates film because, first off, the title Dead Men Tell No Tales, it's very iconic throughout the whole series. I think that's going to be big, and I love the trailer. In the trailer, they show one of the main characters, Captain Jack Sparrow, as a younger pirate, and they show the conflict between him and the villain, it looks like, in this upcoming film. They show that there's a conflict between them throughout the ages, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out and what they will do with that. I think it's interesting. I think it's the fifth movie in the Pirates franchise, and every single one always gets people to watch and is always seeming to be like a Disney classic in a way. So I'm excited to see what they do with this new film and how the fans interpret it.
Yeah, one thing I always love in films is when they do the villain right. And it looks like they hired a really good actor for this, and Javier Bardem. Just his performance in Skyfall is becoming legendary very quickly. And just the fact that they molded him into a ghost pirate just like brings it up to another level for me. And the early feedback for this film and the film screenings has been very positive, and that's a really good sign, because we all want this movie to be as kick-ass as possible.
I definitely agree with that, and it's definitely something, because the Pirates series always has the enemy being a little abstract. Like you have the original where they're like skeleton pirates, but in this one they're like running on water in the trailer, and the enemies are just doing things that you wouldn't expect, so it makes them more, it seems like more villainous and more of a scary figure, even though there's some comic relief with Jack Sparrow, as always. So it'll be interesting to see the mix of how they make the super powerful villain fight against them.
Yeah, and this seems to be like the purest of revenge tales. How the trailer depicts a young Jack Sparrow tricking, I think his name's Captain Salazar, tricking Salazar into some sort of situation. It ends up destroying him after Salazar was set out to destroy pirates. And So this seems like a very pure revenge tale, and a lot of us really like those type of tales.
And I definitely think it's something showing that Salazar was, I think, with the Spanish at that point. He was with one of the European nations trying to eradicate pirates, and then it seems maybe he's becoming a pirate himself, trying to hunt down Jack Sparrow, and he's become this ghost figure and this overwhelming being in the films, and it's like going to be interesting how they show that he wasn't in the other ones, but now how he's coming back up to his rise against Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, we're all really excited, and there's really high expectations for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Another movie with there's controversy everywhere on this list, but Cars 3 is slated to come out in June, and apparently there's a lot of mixed to bad reviews for Cars 2 because a lot of people feel it was just a money grab because the story should really be more around Lightning McQueen and those other the race cars. That's what the first Cars was based around. And this one was Tow Mater's story, to be honest. It was him just being a goofball over the place. It gets old after about 10 minutes. Good comic relief, but not for a major plot device.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be interesting to see how they develop the story and the character again of Lightning McQueen. Because although in the last one, he was in it quite a bit, and he was, I guess, one of the main characters in it, he still wasn't the focus of the entire film. A lot of it was on the subplot or side plot of Tow Mater the truck. I do think it's going to be interesting because the first film, it was about Lightning McQueen interacting with Radiator Springs, a small town. So it looks like it's on a much bigger world stage, kind of like how the second was. So I think they're showing more of more competitive, millennial kind of car coming in and trying to take his place in the raceway. I'm really interested to see how they show Lightning McQueen's perspective on that.
Yeah, and as it goes along with the revenge tales, we like to see redemption, and this looks like a redemption story for Lightning McQueen. It seems that he gotten some sort of accident that has left him crippled or whatever in car terms, left him for scrap, it appears, or pretty close to it. The perfect spot for Tow Mater to come in, only for comic relief though. So yeah, we really want to see a really fleshed out redemption story from Lightning McQueen because we do.
It'll be interesting because it seems with the redemption story, it seems Lightning McQueen is the underdog after having winning over and over in the last couple of movies, that he is now going to come in as this underdog, although he's a champion. So it'll be very interesting to see him in that new role, it seems like, because he's always been the underdog, but he's come out as champion, and now he has to go back down to the bottom level.
Yeah, it should be a good story of redemption and strength and will to get back to the top when it seems like somebody has come in just to replace you. So there's probably low expectations for Cars 3 compared to the other previous two we were talking about, but if it pulls through, people will love it. Our next topic here is Dylan's special. So he's going to have major mic time here. It's War for the Planet of the Apes.
I am very excited about this one, yes.
And it doesn't appear. It is the third movie in the trilogy. And myself, I do enjoy the first two, especially the second one. The second one, after the world went through disease and the remaining survivors are left, it really gives you a good feel, and you feel scared almost because of the time they're in, and the apes have pretty much taken over because they survived the disease. So give us your thoughts on that.
Well, I grew up watching the original Planet of the Apes, where The costumes weren't as good. The
not
CGI.
not Marky Mark.
Oh yeah,
Marky Mark. Okay.
Marky Mark. And just back then, it was a lot simpler. I guess costumes, they didn't have the CGI or anything close to it back in that day. And it's amazing to see that the theme of like human technology and how humans are trying to keep pushing the boundaries of what's biologically sound versus what is morally right, because that's kind of one theme that I see, because they try to alter these apes to make them smarter so that they can create medicines through testing on the apes to make humans feel better and Alzheimer's go away, but in turn makes the apes super powered basically and super intelligent. And it's a very grand theme throughout the series, in the old ones and in the reboot, of humans kind of creating their own downfall. And I think War of the Planet of the Apes will definitely show that, because in this you get a more obviously war-like aspect, because it's not a takeover as much right now. It's a human versus ape full-on battle, and they show Woody Harrelson as the leader of the human organization, and that he is trying to wipe out the apes completely because he knows that humanity created them and that they're threatening the way of human life, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how they come through this movie with the same theme as the originals and how they make the jump from Planet of the Apes to the second installment to now this third one of the full war, and if they'll go back like the old ones did to show a full Planet of the Apes where the humans don't talk and are put down to where the apes are in our society now.
Yeah, as great as the story is that we expect, if there was ever a movie to where CGI was necessary and it was done right, this would be the franchise, because Andy Serkis as Caesar has just been something else out of this world. I mean, it's on par, the same level as him as Gollum.
Oh yeah.
Just to see the motion capture, the acting is phenomenal in these movies, and we expect even better in this next installment.
And it makes the CGI definitely, it adds so much to the characters that it makes you feel for that animal, because they are the animals, but then now they're becoming intelligent, and you gain emotion and you gain feeling for these animals, even though they're trying to wipe out humanity. You at points you want to side with them because you feel for them with all the CGI and all the effects that they can make happen for them.
Yeah. I definitely feel energy coming from Dylan on this movie. He seems really pumped and very knowledgeable about this, so we're all really excited, especially him, for this third installment to come out this summer. So this last topic is very dear to both of us and probably most of humankind.
Oh yes.
Ever since the first release in 1977, which was a long time before either of us were born, but we still love it because we watched it anyways. This is Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is the second installment in the sequel trilogy of the franchise, and they just released the first teaser trailer, and it just has us asking more questions than it does answering anything helpful. So it seems like Rey is training from Luke, and Luke may not be what she expected from the end of The Force Awakens. And so we're all really excited to see how that plays out. So at the end of the trailer, Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end. How do you feel about the Jedi ending, Dylan?
Well, I think that it's a very interesting concept, because in the originals and in the prequels, there's this huge talk of the balance of the Force and trying to get everything equal, and that is like the ultimate, not goal, but that's one of the overarching like methods and symbols throughout the Star Wars universe. And I think that maybe by him saying that the Jedi need to end, maybe he's also trying to end the Sith at the same time. Maybe they're saying it that way in the trailer to get more intrigue, because they have this ultimate being in Supreme Leader Snoke, and then this just hateful character in Kylo Ren, that you see the two of them, and then you see Luke, and then you see Rey, and you just see that if the Jedi end, like, maybe they're trying to make a martyr factor where if they end, they'll end the Sith. So I'm very skeptical on how they'll approach it, but it's promising.
Yeah, for me, that the last time that that I think that the Sith, lived from was the death of Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. Technically, those two were the last of the Sith. We're not sure what Supreme Leader Snoke is or what he follows, but it appears that he's most definitely on the dark side of the Force here, along with Kylo Ren. So maybe the Sith has ended, maybe it's begun, but if the Sith has ended, according to Luke, maybe he thinks the Jedi should end because that'll make him think that there's no more conflict between two strong viewpoints. Maybe they're looking for more of a middle ground here. But yeah, we could talk on and on about the new Star Wars movie and the trailer that came out, along with the poster, which is great. We all love the poster, all the red, and then the hero of Rey showing the bright light and all the red and the darkness. So that movie should be coming out, I believe, mid-December. Not sure on the date exactly.
It may be Christmas, I heard.
Okay, maybe Christmas at the latest, but we can't survive any longer.
Yeah.
We'll have riots. So yeah, that's all the talk we have today for the Box Office Boys podcast. First ever podcast. We're not really sure if this will be a weekly thing or not. I was just kidding about that earlier, but we'd like to thank our audience. I would like to thank Dylan for coming in and helping me out on this. It's really appreciated.
Absolutely, it was fun.